You've come to the right place if you're looking to create, launch, and scale a high-value online training program. I'm your guide, Chris Badgett. I'm the co-founder of LifterLMS, the most powerful learning management system for WordPress. Stay to the end. I've got something special for you. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of LMS Cast. I'm joined by a friend and one of my favorite people in the Lifter LMS community. His name is Ziv Raviv. You can find him at zivraviv.com and also kivimedia.co. And we're going to get into some really cool stuff you haven't heard before today, a concept called super coaching. Ziv and I were just chatting about it, and I'm blown away and fascinated. Ziv is also a master of micro niching, and good niching is a big challenge with so many education entrepreneurs or just entrepreneurs in general, and Ziv is a master at it. But we're going to get into all that. But first, welcome back on the show, Ziv.
Hello, Chris. It's such an amazing pleasure to connect here and to share this journey of online business and educational businesses and being like an entrepreneur in this space with you again. Like, this is the third time I'm here. I'm excited to share some new concept with the listeners. I hope this will bring a lot of value to everyone.
And before we get going, Ziv also has a podcast called Beyond Six Figures. So check that out. Add that to your next listen after this one. Let's just start high level, Ziv. If somebody doesn't know you, you've done a lot of things, and you're really focused on super coaching now and having a unified vision. But what niches have you been in? What kinds of entrepreneurial activities have you done over, say, the past 10 years?
It's actually 10 years since I launched my first podcast, and that podcast turned me into a course creator and into a coach. I remember my first course that I launched was actually with a Google Doc and a few unlisted videos on YouTube. Later on, I found LifterLMS and started to create multiple online courses. So I remember the second year of operation as a podcaster, we were launching 8 different courses in a very small micro niche of balloon art. There are people that are serving as balloon artists, as balloon decorators, as balloon entertainers, and they needed some education about their craft and about their business. And so I launched 8 courses on the second year. Since then, we've launched through LifterLMS way over 300 courses in many niches, including in the floral industry, in the kids entertainer industry. We had a bit of work in the relationship niche with a platform called Generous Marriage. We had a round of activities in the niche of copywriting with dailycookie.co. And all of that, like going each time to a different micro niche and serving clients there, serving the niche with free online courses and paid online courses, and later on with coaching. All of that was something I did year after year to get to a point where I start to realize that I need to start focusing. I need to start removing some of the activities and understand what is my system, where is my zone of genius, where can I actually bring the biggest transformations. And that's when I realized, just a little bit after ChatGPT was starting, like ChatGPT 3.5 started to be a thing, copywriting as a service became something that is not as needed as before because it was just too easy. And I realized in parallel that I want to focus, and that's where super coaching was born.
That's awesome. That's quite the journey. And if you feel like it, maybe just share some revenue numbers of how you've grown over the years. And also, really what people wonder sometimes is they're, especially like if you go back to your early self with the Google Doc and the unlisted videos, you don't really know you're going to make it and you have a lot of self-doubt. And what happened, or why do you think it worked out for you?
So first of all, I want to say that I want to start with the numbers because it will put everything in perspective. So the first year online as a content creator, we did 20K. That's what we did, 22K. The second year we did something like 88K. Over the years, we started to grow dramatically. I was interviewed on your show. The listeners can actually go and listen to it when I was doing 277K. And then a year later or so, despite the corona and everything, we were doing 377K, which was already is a case study where people can listen to the different things we were doing. We then grew to 430K. We got stuck at that for a couple of years, and then we grew to 475K. And this year we are targeting, and nothing can stop us now. Like we will probably do more than that, but at the very least, we're going to do 540K in 2025. So we grew over the years dramatically. We had to grow the team as well. We had to change the way we do business. We had to let go of certain ideas, like certain focus points that no longer served us to grow and to be impactful. So yeah, that is like the context of the numbers. And the idea that always led me in doing business, in attracting clients, was the idea of micro niching. And it's the idea that people are so busy these days. They see so much content. They don't care about other things that are happening. They don't want to buy stuff that are not that is presented by strangers to them, and so on and so forth. So it's almost like the tribes, the different tribes of people are locked inside bubbles, and the bubble is so thick that in order to pierce through the bubble, you need someone from within the bubble to introduce you to the tribe. And in order to do that, you need to micro niche so that people will listen to you, so that collaborations will make sense and people will agree to collaborate with you, so that they will agree to be interviewed by you, and so on. So on our first micro niche, we just recently reached a total income of $1 million, all from people that are making a living from taking balloons and putting some air into them and tying them and making events look good. And we've managed to, and it's such a small micro niche. These are like 3,000 people throughout the world. Those 3,000 people have, like, I'm very humbled to say that they have paid us $1 million, a little bit more than $1 million over the years for their education and for their services and for their coaching and so on. And we're continuing to grow. But at the beginning, it was micro niching sideways. So from one micro niche sideways to another micro niche that is similar. And these days, we're starting to niche up.
Wow, that's awesome. And congrats on the success with the balloon artists. And if correct me if I'm wrong, but it's I know you yourself are a balloon artist and you also have a niche in florists. Have you been a florist?
Actually, I did not. I was never a florist. The first few niches that I chose, micro niches that I chose to produce a podcast and sell online courses in that micro niche, those were things related to my passions. Over the years, I started to do this more professionally. I would choose a micro niche. I did this in 9 different micro niches, right? So I would choose a micro niche that I think I could provide some service to, that I think I have some passion in that micro niche. And sometimes I found out that I don't, and I failed, and I stopped. I turned off the shelter, as some say, on that podcast, because I just couldn't really connect with the people in a way that would yield results fast enough. But on others, I went in professionally, right? So with the florist industry, I don't have any experience with flowers. I don't know the names of the flowers. It's really bad, but I know marketing and I know business. So I
They're
connected.
entrepreneurs, right? And you're an
Yes.
entrepreneur. And a
And
lot of your current coaching clients are entrepreneurs, is that right?
yes. And you know what? One client led to another client, as often that happens. And I started to serve florist people. I had clients that were florists, and they were such cool people. They were really good in business. They didn't need to kind of apologize when people ask a balloon decorator, what do you do? And they say, in balloons, they kind of ask you, okay, yeah, but what do you really do? And but what, that's like not that's a hobby, that's a hustle, even though there are people doing $1 million a year from balloon decor, but they always felt like they need to defend themselves florists don't need to defend themselves. They know what they're doing. They're running successful businesses with teams and with clients and with locations and multiple locations. And so I decided to go into it professionally, and I partnered with another coach that I started to serve his business and his school, and I even turned his entire school into a LifterLMS school as
Oh,
a
nice.
part of our work together. And so over the years, I had niches where I went in and I succeeded to bring myself to a point where I have coaching clients in them. And on some, I tried, I saw that I didn't like what I'm seeing, and I stepped back.
I love seeing your growth and just journey over the years and where you are now. Like when somebody kind of compounds and keeps improving and being curious and creating value in the world, it's awesome to see. And now you're at super coaching as a concept. Can you explain how you came to that and what it is and how you do it?
Super coaching is the concept of coaching plus benefits, which means that you add some value to the client in some way, shape, or form. And over the years, I have added a lot of value to my clients beyond education. I always included a lot of free education for my clients, but I'm talking about something even more than education, which is in the trenches, working with the client in order to help them with other problems they have. So one of the first problems I solved for my coaching clients was through a company called Design Picker. They even these days they offer unlimited designs for a flat fee. They're amazing. I was coached personally by Russ Perry for a while and adore what they do. And I used their service to serve my clients. So my clients would get free designs for quite a while. Over the years, I started to hire my own graphic designers, and then I needed a lot of website fixes. So I would hire a website developer on WordPress to fix a lot of things, and then they started to fix things for my clients, and then they started to build websites for my clients from scratch. And then we created a copywriting company and a team. And once I decided I want to go all in with super coaching, the copywriting team became another resource of my coaching clients. So at some point, actually, we actually accidentally turned into a marketing agency where the clients come to me about 70% of them, they come to me when they look for a coach, and they find out that they have way more than like that. I give them way more than just the coaching. So we do all of their designs, we control the websites, we build them, we create sales campaigns, advertising campaigns, everything. And some of them come to me because they heard about the transformation. They don't care if I will call myself a coach or I will call myself a CMO, a fractional CMO, or if I, they don't even care if I have a title. All they care about is they know someone that I helped them grow by 20 to 50% in a year. And for a 7-figure business, that's a lot of money to grow by 20 to 50%. So they heard about that, they came to me, and then they received like this concept. So super coaching is a different type of a relationship, and it's a very deep relationship. It's a very close relationship. Some of my clients, I meet them, I kid you not, I meet them 4 to 5 times a week. So we have a one-on-one session, and then I make myself available for 4 times a week, sometimes 5 times a week on a group session level. So pretty much every day almost, they have an opportunity to show up and ask a question and remind me about something they needed and ask me about some design they were waiting for, or some bug they need fixing, or some campaign they need me to look at. And the result of it is that I am a little bit of a business coach and a little bit of an implementation coach and a little bit of a marketing coach and a little bit of like a relationship coach and a holistic approach coach. But I will be whatever the client needs in order to get them to where they want to go.
Wow, that is so cool. What from on the coaching aspect, what are some of the common challenges you help people work through to unlock growth? And you mentioned a lot of things. It could be a relationship, it could be a marketing challenge, it could be a technical challenge. But do you see any patterns or themes that are common across your clients?
The more we work with like over time with our clients, the more we see them get to the point where they have new problems to solve. So I'm actually really interested in this idea where businesses actually have different stages in their growth, and a lot of time they struggle with identifying what to focus on, right? So they think that they have many problems, and many times their first problem that they think they have is we don't have enough leads or we don't have enough sales. That's what almost all clients think that is the main problem. But they actually, that the lead problem is not a problem that you need to solve. Like, it's actually a temporary problem. Believe it or not, your lead problem is a temporary problem. Your growth as a business, that's an infinite problem. You will always want to worry about that. The difference between infinite problems and finite problems is that infinite problems, you need to think about them in an annual level, in a quarterly level. You need people responsible for that problem, right? And you need to monitor that problem forever. But if, like, you have a Jessica and Jessica decided to resign and she is a part of your team, that's not an hiring problem. That's the Jessica problem. It's a very temporary problem that you just need to fix. You just need to replace Jessica. So when you know that the problem is actually temporary, you just need to put in the efforts. You need to trust the process and put in the efforts and fix it. So a lot of people, they will think they have a lead problem or a sales problem, but actually they just need to understand that it's a fixable problem, and if they put in the efforts, they will be able to solve that problem.
That's awesome. I want to ask like how you developed as with your coaching skills. And part of me knows that you're just a natural. Like you've been
Mhm.
making people smile, laugh, reading the room, big picture, creative, problem-solving guy your whole life. But how does one or anyone become a better coach?
I think there's a lot of way to improve in coaching and in business, in and it's not, first you need to understand that it's not an easy process. It's There's a lot of skills involved, and you need to work on them with the passion of a violinist or a pianist that really practice for hours. So one of the things that truly makes me better as a coach is just the fact that I work a lot. I
Yeah.
just I'm putting in the reps. I've been doing I've been fully booked for many years. I talk about that in my book. I've been doing this week. I've been doing 12 meetings with coaching clients, 12 meetings a day, every day. It's just something that I put in. That's a lot of hours of work. And I didn't always do that. I took a couple of years where I only worked for 3 days a week. And I battled through burnout. And I'm glad to say I'm now on the other side. I have my energy now back to do like more meetings like that. But one of the best ways to grow as a coach and become better as a coach is just to put in the reps. There are many books to read about coaching that are amazing. There are many books about business and entrepreneurships that are amazing. There are many podcasts like LifterLMS's LMS Cast podcast, which is really a great way to be open for ideas that way and to learn about different educational and entrepreneurs. So I think that I've done my share of listening to clients, of helping them. I've done my share of being in business myself and building businesses myself and launching things. I've done a lot of webinars and a lot of online courses and a lot of group programs. I launched 4 different mobile apps. So when you put in a lot of work and reps, you can get better quite fast.
You mentioned learning from books. You have a book, The Fully Booked Coach. Can you tell us what that's about and what inspired you to write it? This episode of LMS Cast is brought to you by Pop-Up Maker, the most powerful, trusted pop-up solution for WordPress. Whether you're selling online courses or memberships, Pop-Up Maker helps you grow your email list, boost sales conversions, and engage your visitors with highly customizable pop-ups. Imagine creating custom opt-ins, announcements, and promotions that actually convert. I personally use Pop-Up Maker on my LifterLMS websites for lead magnet opt-ins, cart abandonment, upsells, downsells, and guiding users to helpful content. Pop-Up Maker is an essential tool for growing my email list and making more money online through my website. Ready to take your website to the next level? Head on over to wppopupmaker.com/LMScast and save 15% on your order. Discount automatically applies when you visit through that link. Pop-Up Maker also has an awesome free version, so you can just use that as well. Go to wppopupmaker.com/LMScast and save 15% off your order, or get started with the free version now. Get more leads and sales on your website with Pop-Up Maker today. Now back to the episode.
This is a work of love that took a good 2 years to fully work on and polish and edit and proof and launch. This year we've launched the book, and it actually shares my systems completely openly. How I coach, what type of tools I actually use on a day-to-day basis, and what's my philosophy in business in getting coaching clients that will stick around. So it's all about micro niching, where you actually get people to listen to you, to hear you, to respect you, to trust you, to work with you. And in order to do that, you choose a micro niche and you go in, you listen to what they need, and you create some online courses for them for free, and you create some online courses for them for that they can buy, and you do webinars, like you do the whole thing, and you can do it differently from one micro niche to another based on where they congregate. And this whole system is detailed in the book. And after doing that so many times, it just was clear to me that this is like a system. At some point, I got into a new micro niche, and I detailed everything. Like I did it with transparency, with meetings online and whatnot. And within 90 days, I was able to secure a coaching client in a totally new micro niche, right? So it's actually, if you know how to micro niche and you put in the work, you can find clients relatively fast, as long as you're bringing value and into that micro niche. The second concept that I talk about in the book is about super coaching, which is how to basically, in order to be fully booked, you just need one thing. You don't need to be a super coach. You don't need to provide more than just coaching. There are purists coaches, and they're amazing. They're really good. They provide a lot of value. They solve problems on the call. They listen. They create accountability. It's great to be a purist coach. I'm more in the trenches type of a guy. I want to be a more meaningful part of a relationship with my client, and I chose super coaching. But either way, the most important part is that they stay around long enough.
Yeah.
As soon as people stick around long enough with you, you will become fully booked at some point. So the concept of how do you provide coaching services that are so fun and meaningful and so impactful and so transformational, I wanted to document all of the ways to do that in the book based on my experience. And so the book gives you both of these tools, the micro niching and the super coaching, in order to get you to the point where you're fully booked.
That's awesome. Yeah, go check out the Fully Booked Coach book. I'm sure that's on Amazon.
It is.
Yeah. Let's double click again on micro niching. What do
Sure.
you say to somebody, particularly creative entrepreneur people, they tend to have a lot of different interests and maybe what they get paid for in their day job? There's some niche they're in, there's some hobby niche they love, there's like maybe a fitness journey they're on and a certain type of fitness, or like they're into some kind of diet nutrition thing or something. How does one choose a micro niche when they're a polymath or have a lot of different interests and subject matter expertise?
A lot of times saying no to some of those ideas is way more important than which one you chose, because you actually, it's better for you if you start with one and put in a certain amount of work to assess if this is the right one for you. So I have these 3 tests that I ask myself in advance before I go into a micro niche. I ask myself, how easy will it be to find people for interviews on a podcast, or for a collaboration on YouTube, or for collaboration on an ebook or on a blog. So the first question I ask myself is, how easy will it be to find someone? The second, and get them to collaborate. The second question is, will they brag about it? So I call this braggability. And the third question is, will they collaborate on helping me sell something, or will they buy something for me? And I call this the sellability test. So findability, braggability, and sellability, these three tests initially help me realize if it's a good micro niche or not. I can give you an example of where I failed. So I chose to create a podcast called Plumbing and Money Live. Plumbing and Money Live. It's a
Yeah.
show for plumbers to
Yeah.
help them with their money. And I did some research about how to help them with their Google ads. I did some research about how to help them locally with Facebook ads. I was very proficient with both of these tools. I had a
See the
copywriting team. I had
opportunity. I'm getting sold on it right now. There's plumbers everywhere. They need
there's
help.
what they need help. Right. So I went in all in, and I checked my numbers. There were enough. There were enough plumbers to. There were more plumbers in the world than balloon artists. So good for me. I'm getting into bigger niches now. And I contacted 1,000 people, and one person agreed to be on the show, and it was interviewed on the show. I realized that through the responses, as they said no to me, many of them just ignored, but those that said no taught me that this is a very shy audience. Of course, I'm biased. I only talked with 1,000 of them. I only was in touch with 1,000 of them. I talked with a few of them. Obviously, there's a small number bias, but basically, I realized it's not a good match. When I was on their Facebook groups, trying to connect, trying to get into their head, trying to meet more people, I could not ignore the fact that my nose is imagining the smell of what they're doing, because they were sharing pictures. So look at, I fixed this and I fixed that. And they were so happy. And I
Yeah.
started to realize I'm not a good fit for them. I'm not feeling comfortable in where they congregate, where they show me those pictures of toilets. So I decided to stop on that. I thought it was easy to find them. I realized they do not want to be on a show and be featured, right? And I stepped away. And on other niches, I was able to get different results and grow. So those three tests are a good starting point. I'll give you one more quick tip for anyone listening. Go into Sales Navigator on LinkedIn. It's worth $80 of your money, just 1 month. Do some research with a proper tool, and or use the other tools for research. It doesn't matter, ChatGPT, whatever. But find a micro niche where you can actually find people and be able to contact them through email or message. And you want a micro niche that has about 3 to 20,000 people. If there's more than 20,000 people, it will be harder to get them to actually respond to you because they're too busy potentially. If there are less than 3,000 people, it might be too small to actually make you a living and find enough people. But think about this way, you only need 50 of them to agree to collaborate in a year. 50 people, that's all what that 50 people are standing that you collaborate with, that you want to help them and provide them value for free with a podcast interview. That's all that is standing between you and starting a business that is a serious coaching or educational business. So you want to find a niche that that you will be able to find those 50 people relatively efficiently.
What's your perspective on like the education entrepreneur niche? I find it somewhat challenging. This is my niche in the sense that we make software in this niche, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of different types of creators out there. There's a lot of different types of online education. They're spread out all over the world. They're if you go to LinkedIn, there's no education entrepreneur like group or as like a job byline. So, like, within the education entrepreneurs, the creators, like, what do you see as a really cool micro niche?
That's a great question. I want to flip this question just
Yeah.
to understand it's even better. Would you like to play a game where we look into LifterLMS as a company that micro niches, and consider micro niches for you, or would you like to play a game where I, as a coach, I'm thinking about how to find educational course creators that are specific enough that I can maybe go into a micro niche. Like, who do you want?
I think the first one. So if you look at LifterLMS, like as an example,
Yeah,
people like
let's talk.
people like you who are subject matter experts, creators, content creators, coaches, niche audience is an awesome group of people. And in many ways, Lifter was built like this has always been our core customer. But a lot
Yeah,
of other people show up with like different types of e-learning situations and whatnot, and that's fine. But I've always struggled with niching for e-learning or LMS or course creators and coaches and stuff. Because I think course creators and coaches is too big. I think I'm outside that 20,000
you are.
guardrail.
You
About
are.
yeah,
A lot of times, it's okay to micro niche by solving one problem, even
yeah,
on a bigger group, right? So when I say 3 to 20,000, that's for someone that doesn't know yet what are they going to solve necessarily. They're willing to listen and adapt. And that Lifter LMS has a proven solution and it solves one specific problem. Unfortunately, there's also competition, right? And I think that the AI era is forcing you to create a new strategy for Lifter LMS. That's what I think. So it's almost, I don't remember, was it Sam Altman said that at some point AI will get to such a level of efficiency of it will be embedded with so many things in our lives that it will be transparent. You will not feel the technology, right? You will just experience that everything is easier for you. And to some degree, I think that's what Lifter LMS has done for me now. In my business, we don't treat Lifter LMS as something that we need to think about. It's invisible. It's a tool that we use when we need to train new people, when we need to train our clients' teams, when our clients are in the educational world and they need to sell online courses and to sell memberships, right? So it's a tool that we just assume it's there for us and we go in and we use it. And it's like driving a car. You don't think about the engine, you don't think about the wheels, you just go in and you drive it, right? So I think that your approach to selling Lifter LMS has to change as well to help people see that it's actually getting more and more transparent. And you see a lot of companies are doing this thing where, for example, Zapier, you go into Zapier, there's a bot, you tell it what you want to automate, it shows you, oh, so you mean this and this is the steps of the automation. You go into Active Campaign, you write an email, you immediately have a chatbot that says, would you like to expand this like campaign to additional things? You can chat with it and it will literally create some follow-ups based on automation and triggers and tags for you. And there's other platforms that give you like more and more of these feelings where the technology is managing itself to some degree. So obviously, I would love it if Lifter LMS wins the race and releases a lot of really cool features like that. And I think that's very important for people. Back to the question about niching, I think I think that there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of examples I would consider for you, Chris, and for Lifter LMS. The first one is actually business coaches.
yeah,
So business coaches often need Lifter LMS as one of the tools in their tool belt. Some people need a wrench. We need an LMS. We need it for our clients. We need it for our teams. We need it for our niches, right? For our micro niches. I'll give you an example from the Beyond Six Figure podcast. This podcast is a podcast for business coaches, right? We contact business coaches. We contact book authors that write books about business and about coaching. We contact podcasters like Johnny Dumas and Jordan Harbinger were on the show. We contact workers, right? Like the people that are in the trenches. We were able to get 45 people. And by the end of next week, it will be 52 people. It's like very fast, 52 interviews, all scheduled. For the most part, they're already recorded in 12 weeks.
Wow.
So people are saying, yes, I want to be on your show very fast. And so we're building relationships with new people, business coaches for the most part. They have problems that they need to solve. They want to be featured. And if you look at the numbers, like how many of them say, yes, I want to be on the show in comparison to those plumbers before, such a completely different experience. Like back then, I worked for 3 months, I got an interview, and now with this one, in 3 months, I got a year of content that will be scheduled for me, and it's like in the pipelines, and I don't have to worry about it. And now I'm starting to think about how to collaborate with these people and how to help them and help them and ask for their help as well. So I think that if you, with LifterLMS, would do something like a secondary podcast, maybe, or just leveraging your existing platforms, that could be an example where people are responding very fast. I can imagine a situation where at the end of an interview, you tell people, hey, you're qualified for this package if you ever choose to try us out, or we have a service where we will migrate your course from this platform to this platform, some white label thing, or what, here's 90% discount on the white label thing, we'll move you into LifterLMS literally for free, or so on. So that's just one example of micro niching that will be relatively easy based on my experience. Another way to look at it is to go into places where you didn't go before. So I think that you do need to be on LinkedIn. You need to be loud on LinkedIn. I think you need to even consider the younger generations, Gen Zs 20 to 27, a type of entrepreneurs. Educate them when they're young on TikTok and on vertical videos. So I would definitely put in some work on that type of a front. What do you think? How much of this is like stuff that you considered, or
I love it. I've always loved business coaching. It's one of the ones that I think resonates the most with me simply because I'm a business guy, I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been in it a long time, and I've had business coaches and had amazing experiences and stuff. When you think about the 3 mega niches like health, wealth, and relationships. So there's business coaches, there's life coaches, there's health coaches. Those are all more micro
yeah,
niche. And yeah, you've triggered like you've reminded me the passion I've always had for business coaching. And I call it our market, the education entrepreneurs, but the word entrepreneur is in there, which is like business. And a health coach can be an education entrepreneur of their own, but they're not necessarily helping other entrepreneurs. And I have always, probably very similar to you, which is why we resonate, is I like hanging out with other entrepreneurs. We think differently. We're a small percentage of the population. We're in our bubbles, different entrepreneur bubbles. And yeah, I appreciate what you're saying. And I see how you're a great coach because you're like lasering in and just on a podcast episode. It's awesome. Part Another question I would ask you where I think people get mixed up, and these are just a bunch of business terms, but there's like niche, there's your customer avatar, your ideal customer profile, your target market, segments, and all this stuff. I think people get a little overwhelmed with all the slicing and dicing. I think you've done a good job with saying, hey, just focus on the micro niche, right? And sure, within that, you probably have the ideal florist shop owner that's like a perfect fit. And that's like your avatar. And like for a lifter, one of the things that's always a challenge, not with you, because you're both. You're an educator, but you're also an awesome WordPress website builder. But we have a split audience of agencies. I build sites for clients, or I'm building the site for me and my niche and my passion and stuff like that. And some people are both like you. But I don't know if you have any comments on that. Just like I see a lot of people get trapped in who is my customer avatar or what's my niche, or those just that either create a fictional person or somebody you've actually worked with or earlier version of yourself. There's just so much here that I think it gets overwhelming sometimes.
I think that micro niching actually helps you make your avatar a, a group of real people. And I think it's way more efficient.
You're not guessing. It's like this is
Yeah,
they're
yeah. It's a person you met, it's a person you talked to.
yeah,
So instead of having this really fun and clever exercise where you answer questions based on a fictitious person, and you have that fictitious person guide you through every decision you make. That's something I never really resonated with on a personal level. I wanted real people to talk to
yeah,
me. And these days with AI, you get AI to answer the questions for you. And then trying to convince, like, to you serve a client and your avatar, which is completely fictitious, that was designed by a machine for you based on the stuff that it's read. There's zero soul in it. People buy things from people, from
yeah.
humans, and they buy it based on their own problems, based on things they want. And if you are fixing theoretical problems, it's going to be very hard to get people to notice you. It's not going to come up authentic. It's going to be really frustrating. So I think that it's really important to talk with people. And when you micro niche and you start to collaborate with thought leaders in that micro niche, you realize what are the problems, and you have to be curious to ask the questions and to find what they want you to solve, and that over time helps you realize what they need. And if you really want in desire to serve, if you're in servitude of a group of people, of a tribe, of a micro niche, then you would try to solve all of their problems, really,
Yeah.
at
They'll
least at the
tell you what they
beginning.
are, right? Like, you don't have to guess.
Yeah, and you will try to solve their small problems, and you will try to solve their bigger problems, and you try to solve the biggest problems. At some point, you'll notice which of those problems actually is the most impactful, transformational problem that you're really good at solving. And that's what you take into the Google ads or the Facebook ads, or to the scaling bit of let's do this on other micro niches and so on. I think if you ask yourself, I will ask you instead of saying, who do you think is more influential in their ecosystem? The WordPress developer, that if they know LifterLMS so well, then they could refer their clients to LifterLMS, or the business coaches that guide clients through decisions, including potentially the decision to launch online courses or membership sites. So, what do you think? Which one, the developer or the coach? Which one do you think is like their word is respected a little bit higher than the other one?
That's a tough question for me, and the reason why it is because it just happened organically where I was, like, just another freelancer building websites for clients. But now, like, the whole, like, WordPress community and a lot of agencies and stuff, I'm known. And, like, wherever I go, like, on social media, WordPress is with me,
Yeah,
and it's, like, effortless. But for business coaches, I also have a lot of value to add, and just for whatever reason, I would say the website building folks, the technologists, whether they're a developer or a person like me who just puts plugins and themes together to solve business problems, those type of people have always just resonated easily. But I see the opportunity with the coaching industry and all of that as well. So, it's not the right answer, but I feel like both are good. I'm just saying for whatever reason, the website builders, I call them WordPress professionals.
yeah,
That tribe, I just naturally fit, or I grew up inside the bubble, so I'm, like, already there in the micro niche.
yeah.
Because 'Cause I've been doing this since 2008 with WordPress. But I've also been an entrepreneur that whole time and interacting with other entrepreneurs and business coaches and getting help and going to masterminds and taking courses and all that stuff too.
I think in both cases, you have a lot of value that you bring to the table. Like with the WordPress professionals, you speak the language. Obviously, it's the easier solution in a way. But the business
Which is why
coaches,
it's like you starting with the balloon artist, 'cause
yeah,
you do a lot of that, and you were already in the bubble, right? So,
yeah,
"Hey, guys." Yeah,
yeah. So that's like the easy solution, the low hanging fruit in a way, which I think you already maybe even exhausted to some degree because it's
yeah,
already there. You actually can manage the maintain your reputation with a couple of events a year, with some not it's not a lot of efforts to just maintain that. Your team
right.
can actually maintain that for you in a way. I think that business coaches, you have a lot of value to. I've learned so much from just connecting with you. I did a strategy session with you a while back, and that strategy session made me a better coach. It just opened me to the way you look at things, and it inspired me dramatically. I actually talk about it in the book. So it's really something that you can bring value to other business coaches, and I think these days they're very influential on their clients. So I think that their word is considered like they take their word. They take their word a lot. They listen. So both of them are mavens, right?
Yeah,
But I think that it's time to maybe try a new group of mavens.
to leave the nest. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's awesome. Ziv, that's awesome. I wanted to interview you, but I also got a coaching session. I appreciate
This was
it.
fun.
That's Ziv Raviv. Go get his book, The Fully Booked Coach. You can find that on Amazon. So check that out. Beyond Six Figures podcast. About how many episodes are out as of now?
Right now there's 15,
Okay.
and they're going live every week, and it's been a tremendous opportunity to create this resource for the industry, because if you're a business coach and you're listening to these, you get a lot of ideas about different business coaches in different niches and their different hurdles and their different ideas and modalities and the money that they make, the amount of clients. Like, we're such a group of privileged people. We business coaches is such an amazing business model to be a business coach, because you only need about 10 people or 15 people or 20 clients. That's it. 20 clients, and you're really doing well in your life, in like in creating results for people, in reputation, and so on. And if you get there to your fully booked, and then you only need to replace maybe 3 clients a year. As a business owner, how many sales calls and sales you need to bring in every year, every month, every week? A business coach only needs to be active enough to replace 3 or 5 clients. If they're good, they'll need to replace 3 or 5 clients a year, and that's not so hard. So you can actually get to become fully booked relatively fast, in a year or in 18 months or so, if you follow the process in the book. And I think if you are listening to this and you're a business coach or an educational entrepreneur that also want to do business coaching, and reach out to me on zivraviv.com, say hi on Beyond Six Figures, and we'll be happy to interview you.
That's awesome. Let's Ziv Raviv, zivraviv.com. Go get the book. Thanks for coming back on the show, Ziv. We're going to have to do this again. Let's not wait 3 years. We're going to have to increase the cadence, maybe
I
once a
would
year,
love that.
like that.
Would love that.
But thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
And that's a wrap for this episode of LMS Cast. Did you enjoy that episode? Tell your friends and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And I've got a gift for you over at lifterlms.com/gift. Go to lifterlms.com/gift. Keep learning, keep taking action, and I'll see you in the next episode.